It's Lee here, and I'm showing you my US PlayStation Network account because I created a Japanese one. I have two email accounts, a US email account and a Japanese email account. So it's important to create both of them. See, that's my name. Entei Lee is my biological name. That's my mom's old address where she used to live in the US. That's the city she lived in. That's considered Florida, we know that. That's the zip code. And she used to live in the United States. Well, this year she moved to Japan because she missed me a lot. You know, her and my dad got in a fight back in 2001. So yep, I'm gonna get out of that. That's me right there. This is my U.S. PlayStation Network account. My Japanese PlayStation Network account is Entei something. And that's my username. Okay, now get out of that. Yes, I know this system's all in Japanese. Doesn't mean I can't create a U.S. account. You have to know it's important to have two different emails because if you don't, you can't create a US or a Japanese PlayStation Network account because you can't use your same email account. Now it is in US language now. Games are in US. They're US games, you see it. There's a lot of stuff pops up. This gives you reference of certain games like this right here, and we're just gonna go through it all of it. See, it's all in US language because this is a US PlayStation Network account. I have a Japanese one as well. My aqua blue ones from GameStop I bought for a limited time from GameStop. They're selling them. Has my Japanese account. I also got two PlayStation 3s and two PlayStation 4s because each of them have different accounts. I have two PlayStation 3s. One has a Japanese and one has a US account. Same thing with my PS4. I have two of them. Well, two of them PlayStation 4s as well, and they have US and Japanese account because I like playing Japanese and US games. To be honest, I do like playing them. I was pissed off when the 3DS was region locked because I could not play US games on a Japanese 3DS. I had to buy a separate console like a US Nintendo 3DS. I had to buy a Nintendo 3DS, a US version, because I can't play US games on a Japanese 3DS. That pissed me off that they had that nation lock on it. But that's one thing I like about PlayStation. It's not nation lock. You can play US games, Japanese games, games from Europe, all over the world on one system, and it'll read the game no matter what. That's what I like about PlayStation, and that's what I like PlayStation a lot. You know, I like PlayStation a lot. And I do have the physical copy of this game, but it is a Japanese copy only. It's a Japanese cartridge. The US only gets it as a download. There is a physical copy of the game, so PS4 with the US version. So yeah. Oh, that's a new releases and all this. Lego Movie, Jurassic World. Yeah, I got the physical copy of that game. Now, Tetris is my favorite game of all time, yeah, and I've played that for years. That's the first game I ever played was Tetris. You know. Let me get that. Over here. So yeah, as you can see, all this stuff pops up. There's certain things that pops up. Something about free games, so I'll show you free games. I've downloaded some games for free. I believe I downloaded this game right here, and I was going to show you my downloads. I have US downloads. That's a US game. That's a theme. That's a US game. It's called Project Diva. There's a Japanese version and a US version. That's Senkadia. That's a US version. There is a Japanese version of that one as well. So yeah. Out of all my games, I only have a couple US games. I'm going to get out of that. And I'm going to show you some of my US games. That's a US game. That's a US game. That's a US game. So we got Senkadia. That's a US game. Final Fantasy X. Final Fantasy X Remake. Final Fantasy X-2 Remake. That's a download version. and that's a US game, so yeah. And that's a Japanese game. I have I have 2,000 Japanese games for PlayStation Vita, 2,000 Japanese games, and only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of my games are only English. That makes 2,004 games I have now. So only 2,000 of my games are Japanese, and only 4 games I have are English. So yeah, I like playing English games, don't get me wrong, but with Nintendo you have to buy 2 separate consoles for the 3DS to play US and Japanese games. You can't play Japanese games and English games on the 3DS on the same console. It has to be a different version. If you want to play Japanese games, you have to have a Japanese Nintendo 3DXL. You have to have a US Nintendo 3DS to play US games. So that's good stuff. Same thing with Wii U. You have to have 2 separate consoles because that is region locked too. So if you want to play US games on a Wii U and you have Japanese games, well, you're pretty much in trouble. You have to have a US Wii U system to play US games. Same thing with a Japanese version. You have to have different versions. You have to have a Japanese Wii U to play Japanese games, and you have to have a US Wii U to play US games on the Wii U system. So yeah, that's what I don't like about Nintendo. When the 3DS came out, they decided to put region lock on it. That kind of sucked. DS wasn't region locked. That's why I liked playing it, because it wasn't region locked. But there's one thing I did like about PlayStation PSP and PlayStation Vita better, is their system has a louder volume. It's a lot louder than the 3DS, so you can hear it better. Unlike 3DS. 3DS, when the new ones came out, I noticed the volume was a little bit lower than before. I was like, why does it sound funny? It doesn't sound like it should. So that's what I want to show you. It is possible if you live in Tokyo, Japan, like I do, to create a US PlayStation Network account. Like I said, I have US PlayStation Network account, and I had 2 emails account. I have a US email account, and I have a Japanese email account. So you have to have 2 different separate emails to create different accounts. If you want a US account, you have to use the email you prefer, and if you create a Japanese PlayStation Network account, you have to create a different email account. So yeah, that's where it gets tricky. So my US email account is with Yahoo, and my Japanese email account is the most popular website you can create a Japanese email account. People told me about, my relatives told me about this email account to create, so I did. So yeah, until next time, bye bye.